Welcome in, everybody. This is the Maine Hockey Report, brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. I'm your host, Benjamin Kennedy. Thank you so much for checking this out here on this Friday afternoon. We've got a couple of really exciting nights of hockey coming up here at the Cross Insurance Arena in downtown Portland, Maine, with your Maine Mariners hosting the Worcester Railers tonight. Hockey Fights Cancer night, and tomorrow night, the Portland Pirates throwback, the second Pirates throwback night of the season. Of course, the Mariners finishing up a 5-point weekend there last weekend out in Reading, Pennsylvania. Really good to see now a 4-point game streak here for the team. We'll see if they can keep that going with these 3 games over the weekend. Of course, 2 here in Maine, Sunday afternoon back in Worcester, Massachusetts. Let's go back and take a quick look at those 3 games out in Reading, going back to Friday night. Maine with an overtime win here, 4-3. Shots on goal, 46-29. Maine getting 17 shots in that first period to 9 for Reading. 13-11 in the second period for Maine. 14-9 for Maine in the third. Only 2 shots in overtime, both there for Maine in that OT winner. Maine 0 for 1 on the power play. Reading 0 for 3. Goal scores for your Maine Mariners. It was Perreault in the first period. Number 7 on the season for him from Andreev and newcomer Venuto. Then you go to the third period where it's Venuto getting a goal from Gallatin and Andreev. Cronin getting the tying goal there, assisted by Bellamy and Kalmakov. And it is Brooklyn Kalmakov with just a beautiful overtime game winner. First time in a while for him getting a goal that came from Cronin and Thompson. So good on him. Kavlin with the win in this one, 26 saves on 29 shots. Just a brilliant way for Brooklyn to finally get back on the board with a goal. Of course, he's had some assists here lately. You can see him starting to heat up a little bit, as is Andreev. We'll talk about them both here in a little bit. Going to the Saturday game, a little bit more decisive here for the Mariners, although they did get outshot in this one, 33-32. But Maine winning this one 2-0. Brilliant shutout by Brad Arvanitis, stopping all 33 shots. First period there, 11-9 shots for Maine, 13-8 for Maine in the second, and 16-8 for Reading in the third as they tried to make a comeback in this one. Maine was 0 for 2 on the power play. Reading 0 for 4. Goal scores in this one, Vidmar with number 3 on the season for him. That came in the second period at the 3:19 mark from Marooney. And then Hemstrom with his 4th of the year in the third, assisted by Lampa. That was at the 4:14 mark. Again, Arvanitis with the win. Great to see that, getting that 33-shot shutout. And then going to the Sunday matinee game, the one loss on the weekend, but you do still get a point if you're the Maine Mariners, losing this one 4-3 in overtime. Shots on goal in this one, Reading 39-31. That's 14-10 for Reading in the first, 14-9 for Maine in the second, 10-3 for Reading in the third, 6-4 in the overtime. Maine 1 for 2 on the power play, Reading 0 for 2 in this one. First period, it was Max Warner getting this goal scoring started there from Kalmakov and Jordan. You got to go to the second period where Venuto gets his second on the weekend from Bellamy and Andreev. Then it's Perreault getting number 8 on the season from Andreev and Kalmakov. And that would be the end of your goal scoring there, those 3 for the Mariners. Kavlin in net for this one. Faced a lot of rubber in this one. 39 shots on goal, 35 saves for him. So, kept Maine in this one. But, despite the loss, you do take a point out of it, making it 5 out of 6 on the weekend there for the Maine Mariners against a team that, listen, is right there with you in the standings. Looking at the scoring over the weekend, you had Perreault with 2 goals, Andrea with 4 assists, Venuto looking very, very good in his new sweater, 2 goals, 1 assist for him. Kalmakov really starting to get things going, 1 goal, 3 assists. So really good to see that there, the 4-point weekend for him. He is so important to the club. The offense really can be generated by him and can really kind of kickstart things. So really good to see that there. But you had pretty good depth scoring over the weekend. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 different goal scorers. So nice to see that there. Take a quick look at the standings as we sit here today. Wheeling still in first place, of course, kind of kind of sort of running away with things. 25-7-1 with 51 points. Those Adirondack Thunder sitting in second place, 17-9-5 with 39 points. Reading 17-14-4. They got 38 points, and they have hit a little bit of a struggle bus, 4-4-2 over their last 10. Maine sitting in fourth place right now, 14-10-6 with 34 points. Worcester in fifth, 15-15-2 for 32 points. Trois-Rivières, 13-14-3, 29 points for them, sitting in sixth place. Norfolk, 11-19-2, 24 points. And Greensboro wrapping it up, 8-17-6 with 22 points. So obviously, very important weekend coming up. We're going to talk about Worcester here in just a little bit, but Maine sitting just 2 points ahead of the Railers with these 3 games coming up. Mightily important here in, I'd say, mid-January as we look at a possible 6 points on the table for both clubs. Some roster news to talk about, of course. We've got a trade that went down yesterday. Phil Ballou heading down to Norfolk. He got into 24 games this year, 1 goal, 2 assists for 3 points for him. We'll see what happens here. There could be more news around this. Nothing I can report on right now, but it looks like it was a future considerations trade between Maine and Norfolk. But yeah, Phil was good here. He had his moments, and obviously the D room getting a little bit crowded now for Maine, which is not a bad thing, but and Norfolk definitely had some needs there. Max Warner heads back to Providence. Not surprised here. This did seem more like a kind of extended training camp type of thing where he's been dealing with so many injuries that gave him a chance to get on the ice, get his feet back, get his legs back underneath him a little bit. Look good. Obviously, he's a good player, good Providence guy. So in that corresponding move, Jackson Edward comes back to Maine. So you do maintain that defensive front. Looks like both Townson and Hudson have been activated from reserve. Looks like there was a little bit of a flu bug of some sort that went through the room. So looks like those guys are back. And James Maroney placed on reserve right now. I'm not sure the nature of that move, but looks like he is on reserve as we speak. So the Mariners did announce they have made up the schedule or redone the schedule to get those 3 games in from the strike. It was an announcement that went out just today. You can find that on marinersofmaine.com. Just running through it real quick. Then there's a couple other games that are getting shifted around here too to fit in, but you're going to have Maine versus Adirondack on March 8th at 3 o'clock. Maine versus Trois, April 1st at 7. Then you're going to have April 8th, Maine versus Reading at 7. That's replacing the Mariners versus Orlando at 2-4. Then Mariners versus Worcester, 7 p.m. on the 15th. Mariners at Trois, Saturday the 18th at 3 p.m. Go check out the article. I'm not going to read it here, but it's all laid out there. That looks like they had to shift a couple other games around and make it all work. But nice to see that no games lost. And, of course, if you have tickets for those ones, I do believe those are going to be honored for those upcoming games. So really good to see that. And now a word from DraftKings. The jaw-dropping moments that make hockey, hockey. Experience them all with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved. Of course, guys, we've got 3 games coming up this weekend against the Worcester Railers. Tonight, 7:15 puck drop from the Cross Insurance Arena. Hockey Fights Cancer night. Always a good game. Always a kind of an emotional night for so many people. So many people, including my family, have been touched by cancer. So a great night to celebrate, to kind of be in unison together. Should be a fun night. And then tomorrow night, and I will be in the booth for tonight with Mike. So go check that out. Pre-game will be at 7 p.m. Flow Hockey TV and the Mixler app. Tomorrow night, the Pirates Throwback Night. Going to be a lot of fun. I, unfortunately, will not be able to be there for that one. Have some other prior commitments, but Mike is going to have some special guests in the booth all throughout the night. So if you can't make it to the game, make sure you tune in. You're going to love it. Some really exciting people that are going to be joining him there Saturday night. And then, of course, the teams head down to Worcester, head down to 495 to go play there in Worcester Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. All right, looking at Worcester, as we just said, 15-15-2 for them, 32 points. Right now, just looking at some of their metrics, they're -11 in the goal against differential. So they've played better hockey, since the start. They had some losses on their roster, and they've definitely battled back and kept themselves in contention. I think, Yeoman's work by them, and they're getting healthier, and good on them. But 5-5 over their past 10, so they've been kind of right around that 500 mark. Power play at 20.9%, PK at 76.2%. Some of their top performers right now, guys, all very familiar names at this point. Anthony Rapace, 32 games, 10, 13, and 23. Drew Callan, 30 games played, 9 goals, 13 assists for 22 points. Anthony Callan, 28 games for him, 8, 13, and 21. Matt DeMillis, 11 goals, 9 assists for 20 points. That's in 32 games. And defenseman Michael Suda, 27 games, 2 goals, 14 assists, and 16 points. The team did just welcome in Bridgeport player Cam Berg, 2021 fourth-round pick by the New York Islanders. He is down from the American League from Bridgeport. Got into a game recently this week, did score 2 goals, and that one looked quite good. So, down he's played 28 games for Bridgeport this year, 5 goals, 5 assists for 10 points. So, looks like they just want to get him some more ice time, get him seasoned up a little bit. Being a fourth-round pick, maybe they expect a little bit more out of him, but he certainly looked great in his first game with Worcester. So, I think a player to be on the lookout for tonight. In net, of course, you've got Parker Gagan. He has gotten into 12 games, a 2.12 goals against and a 929 save percentage. And Tristan Lennox, 11 games, 3.86 goals against and an 884 save percentage for him. Of course, it's Tikkanen that is up now in the American League, so they do not have their main kind of stud goaltender as we go. So listen, guys, as we said, in a very, very important 3-game set, 6 points on the table when you're only 2 points apart. And, if you're Maine, you need to kind of be mindful of what you have below you. But, you're only 4 points behind Reading, a struggling Reading team right now. So you have an opportunity, if things break right, to pass them and, get yourself in a much better position as the season goes on. So go get those tickets if you haven't done so already. And if you can't get to the arena, of course, remember Flow Hockey TV if you want video of the games this weekend. And if not, just radio is fine for you. The Mixler app is right there. Come check us out. Should be a lot of fun this weekend. All right, just a real quick dive into the Boston Bruins. Winners of 5 in a row and 7 out of 8 sweeping a homestand here over these last 5. And couldn't have been more different in terms of the games they played there. Beating Calgary 4-1, and the 10-2 romp of the Rangers, and 2 shutouts, 1-0 against Pittsburgh and 3-0 against Detroit. Following that up with a 4-2 win last night against Seattle, a game that was a little bit ho-hum, not a very pretty game, and not a game where actually Boston, they didn't quite play a full game there, in my opinion. But goaltending has just been dominant. Swayman's looked great. Corpo has looked great. Only gave up 5 goals in those 5 games, so good on them. Great to see that. 27-19-2 as we sit here today. 56 points in a points tie with Buffalo, but sitting in 5th place. So, they're kind of hanging around. They're hanging around. There's some possibility of some trades that could be, coming up for the group. Of course, we have the Olympic break coming up, so there's going to be a slew of some moves happening right before the Olympic break, and then there'll be some after. So be curious to see what Don Sweeney kind of has up his sleeve and what he wants to do. They don't have a lot of salary cap, but they did just this afternoon free up a bit of cap, trading Jeffery Viel to Anaheim for a future fourth round pick in the 2026 draft. Viel, kind of a heavy player, got into 10 games this year, no points, but 30 penalty minutes, and definitely more of that fourth line kind of guy. I feel like with the Bruins, they're starting to get a really good kind of fourth line, kind of bottom six is kind of fleshed out, and Viel just not getting a lot of time here with the club. So you turn him into something anyway. It's an expiring contract. He had that league minimum $775,000 cap hit. So not a lot of money you open up, but it's something. And again, a player that's not playing a lot, going to an Anaheim team that, they probably need a little more heavy on their team. They've been kind of struggling here lately too. Going back to last night, of course, Zdeno Chara's number rising to the Raptors. Maybe my favorite Bruin of all time. I love Big Z. Love that big number 33. I've got his autograph sitting here in the background. I'll say this about the Boston Bruins. They do an amazing job leaning into their history, honoring their past stars. They do these ceremonies so well. Granted, they've had a lot of them. They've had a lot of opportunities to make these good, but last night was special, borderline emotional, I would say. Big C, just such an important part of the teams back in those years, and still a very important figure in the organization today. So good on Big Z, well deserved. Good on the Bruins for pulling it off. Just a great ceremony, having so many former Bruins out there. Again, Bergeron was in the NESN studio during, I think it was the second period. And man, the guy still looks like he can play. Every time I see him, like, come on, man, get your skates back on, buddy. Like, you can still get this done. But anyway, good there. Good to see everybody out there last night. Just good on the Bruins for another great ceremony. Coming up next for the Bruins, they head out to Chicago to take on Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks. That will be Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Then they head to Dallas to take on the Stars, 7:30 Eastern time there, and then they return home for Bruce Cassidy and the Vegas Golden Knights. That will be on Thursday the 22nd, their next home game. And before we let you go, just a real quick look into the UMaine Black Bears, currently 12-9-2. Looking at some national rankings, they did fall to number 16. I think they were number 12 last week about this time, but a couple absolutely brutal losses down in Providence, 6-1, and then 3-0 shutout there from the Friars. Just a tough weekend for this Black Bear team that's just been a little bit inconsistent, I think, is maybe the best thing we can say about them. At times they look like world beaters, and at other times they lose 9-1 on a 2-game road trip. So tough losses there. They don't play. I think it's the 23rd before they play again. So they have another week before they're back at it, where they take on UMass Lowell at UMass on the 23rd at 7:15, and then Saturday the 24th at 6:05. Absolutely important to erase those two losses and get back in the winning column if you're the Black Bears. Providence does come back to Orono on the 31st here, end of the month, 7 p.m. at the Alphon for that one. So if you're looking for some payback, there's your opportunity. But they got to string some wins together here. They got 11 games left to go in the season. And if they want to stay in this national conversation for national tournament, that they've got to figure this out. I believe it's only a 16-team national tournament, if I'm not mistaken. So you're sitting number 16. You are right on the bubble with other teams kind of breathing down your neck. So can you string a few wins together if you're the Black Bears? And just how important will the Hockey East tournament be? I think it's going to be wildly important for the Black Bears if they want to get into the national tournament. See how these last 11 go. But we knew that this could be a little bit of a transitional type year. You lost a lot of guys last year, a lot of new guys, a lot of talented guys. But going back to my conversation with Ben Barr from the summer, I distinctly remember him saying, yeah, we have a talented room, but work ethic is going to be really important. We got to create the work ethic with this group and kind of create the culture with a brand new not quite a brand new, but a lot of new working pieces, right? So um, I'm not going to put words in Coach Barr's mouth, but I think he knew this roster was going to be a little work and might take a little bit of time. So again, as I said before, I think big picture, the program is in amazing shape. You've got a good group coming in next year as well. So hopefully they can put some wins together and keep themselves in the national conversation. And because when they play well, man, they look like world beaters and they look like a team that could make a run. But anyway, we will see. Well, that's what we have for you today, guys. Sorry, I'm going to keep this one short. It's been a busy work week. I have been struggling to keep my head above water here this week. So apologize for the little delay in getting this one out, but hope to see you at the Cross Insurance Arena tonight. If not, again, check us out on Flow Hockey TV or Mixler app, where Mike and I will be on again pregame 7 p.m. tonight. Thank you again for watching and listening, folks. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out the door. Definitely appreciate all the support. And until next time, everybody, be kind, show love, and God bless.